keep calm because I got my drink right here. We just sipping. We just vibing. So, what was the first car that you ever fell in love with?
What was that question?
The first car that you ever fell in love with?
Damn. So without sounding like a I don't know, without sounding super typical, the one car I can tell you that I have a vast memory of really liking, I was about 10 or 11 years old, and the car was a Dodge Stealth. Um, we were at a car lot buying a car for my sister, and it's basically a red sport. It was this red sports car, and like I just remember that whole time we were at that dealership, the only thing I was doing is just sitting in that seat, and I didn't want to get out of that car. And for whatever reason, I just really liked it. Maybe it was just because it was red. Like I said, I was like 11 years old, so I was a kid. Um, didn't know too much about cars. I knew a little bit. 'Cause my dad's kind of the one that got me into cars.
What was it about it? Was it comfortable inside? Did it just look
I
cool?
think
Was it
it just
loud?
looked cool. That's all it was. I think it just looked cool. It was bright red, so it was just probably just sensory overload as a little kid. Like, oh my god, bright red sports car.
If you could drive any car, what would it be?
Uh, damn. Well, I mean, if it's just to see, it's hard to answer just to drive, right? Because everyone usually asks what to own. If I just want to drive something,
Say you could
uh,
take it for a little road trip or something. Like you got it for a couple
oh,
days.
okay, okay.
So you get to enjoy
Um,
this car.
damn. Honestly, if I'm gonna drive something I can roll, like take it. I'm gonna go drive somewhere. I'm just gonna say one of my dream cars. It's a Koenigsegg Agera. Super nice hypercar. Super clean.
I'm gonna have to look these cars up because I have no idea what they look like. But
Hey, don't even
I
feel
think
bad
I think
trying to
you're right.
spell it, because Koenig that shit's hard. I can't even spell that shit.
Okay.
I just say it anytime I want to look it up, like Koenigsegg.
Who makes them? Where are they from?
It's its own brand, I think. I don't think it's Swedish. Is it Swedish?
Mm.
Oh, I could be completely wrong. It's funny because I could be so off. But they're super nice cars. They're super crazy looking. Like it's not like a regular like sports car you'd see. Like it's like type of like James Bond type shit.
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. What's the
hmm
most exciting car that you've ever driven then?
Ever driven in? Um, damn. I'd say if it's pure just excitement, I got to when I was over in Japan, I got to drive in one my friend's car. And the reason why I'm saying him is the person who it is, my friend, when I first got into like the cars I'm into now, the Nissan Z cars, the guy who I'm talking about in Japan, his car is like basically like one of the most well-known like modified versions of our car. So everyone who has like my type of car, like his car is the ultimate goal. Like it's that well known. So now that it's like, years later, and now this, like I said, this is one of my like really good solid friends. And when I go to Japan, he's who I like ride around with. Riding in his car for the first few times was really awesome because it was like, again, seeing a car you've only seen in pictures or posters, and then it's like now I'm sitting in the cockpit, I mean the passenger seat, getting a ride. And the last time I actually went out there and was hanging out with him, he actually let me drive his car too, which was still crazy. I still can't even believe he let me do
Do
that.
they drive on the other side of the road?
Yeah, so everything is flipped. So you're right hand drive.
Was it weird to you?
I'm gonna say no, but that's because I've driven cars like that before. But that being my first time in Japan driving one, yeah, because again the roads are flipped too, so it's a little bit different. Um, it's funny because one of the first times I was hanging out with him, which was during my first trip in 2018, so when I took my first trip to Japan, and one of the places I went to was it's called Nissan's Grand Drive. So it's like Nissan's personal private facility where they
Mhm.
build like the Nissan Z and the Nissan GTR, their higher end sports car. It's the factory where those cars actually get built and they actually test them in a road course there. So I actually got to visit that place on my first trip to Japan, and that's where I got to meet this person I'm talking about. His name is Kei Miyata. Um, So I got to meet him in person, after just talking online and stuff.
Did you post this?
I did actually. It is, yeah. All my Japan content's there. I have a whole playlist of every single Japan thing, so you can see
I do
everything from
want to
the
visit
first.
Japan, so I'm gonna definitely check that
Highly
one out.
recommend it. And when you want to take that trip, let me know because I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to do. Food, clubs, everything,
Okay.
everything. I love that place. It's so
Okay.
cool. Such a great country. But going back to the story, so when I was at the Grand Drive with him, they gave us the chance to basically drive cars on the test track, right? So I asked him if he wanted to come with me. I was like, "Hey, why don't you ride with me? It'd be cool to have you ride with me at my first time here." And it's funny because again, so everything in a right-hand drive car, it's basically everything's the same. The only thing that's different is your turn signal and your windshield wipers are swapped. That's the
Mhm.
only thing that's different. Everything else, your gas, brake, all that stuff's the same. But that's the only thing that's different. So we were on the track, and I was going to go. He was talking like, "Oh, you drive right-hand drive good. You must have drove it before." And I was like, "Yeah, I've driven it. I've had a couple friends that let me drive it in America, so I'm pretty used to it." And he's like, "Oh, you haven't done the turn signal thing." And I was like, "What turn signal thing?" And right as he said that, I went to go. My mind thought turn signal, so I went to move my hand. I did my windshield wiper, and then we started laughing because that's like I said, that's the most common mistake.
Yeah, gotta get used to that. I'm sure.
Low
I wouldn't even
brother.
want to drive out there. Like, no, thank you. I'm gonna let
It's
y'all
it's
handle that.
it's kind of a trip, and I think it's funny because, like, I remember the first time I ever, like, got a ride in one, which was over here in America. I don't know, it's so interesting how, like, your mind perceives it because your mind you really can't, like, at first, like, for not I feel like for not and I'm saying this as, like, for non-car people even, like, you don't grasp it because your mind is so used to having something here physically in front of you,
Hmm.
but when you sit because 'cause you're sitting in the passenger seat technically in a right-hand drive car when you're on the left side.
Are you more into classic cars or the more modern type of cars that they're building these days, like the Tesla trucks? Like, are you into that kind of stuff?
Nah, I
More
like class.
classic.
Yeah, and for the most part, like, I do favor Japanese cars more than anything. I still, and I can appreciate older American, older European, all that stuff, but, like, what I personally really just am into are just, like, Japanese cars. Like I said, I like everything.
So if you could restore any classic car, what would it be?
Oh, damn. Honestly, shit, that's hard. Honestly, I'm gonna say the car I have. I mean, I don't know if it's considered it basically is, it's the '84, so I don't know if you would consider that classic. But my 300ZX, like one day I really would like to ideally strip the entire car down to bare metal and like repaint and redo every single thing in the car from the ground up.
That sounds really
Take a
cool. Like a
take
nice
a bit of time.
project.
Yeah, definitely.
So you
I
work
like
on cars, you know how to do those type of modifications?
to that stature, I'm not gonna say like I can do that as of now, but I mean for the most part, I believe I can achieve that eventually. But as of now, yeah, I work on my car. For the most part, I do most of the stuff myself. If it's a bigger job, I usually ask my homie to do it because at our job because he has access to a lift, so it's easier. Um, but yeah, most of my mechanic skills I learned from the car I have because I've had it for 9 years. I've had it longer than any of my other cars.
You taught yourself?
Not necessarily. I don't want to say necessarily. My dad got me into cars. He taught me like basic mechanics as a kid. Um, and then basically, so my dad basically taught me like the way you work on cars is you get the factory service manual that's from the manufacturer that tells you how to do the repair jobs like their technicians would essentially, and you do it just like that. And that's essentially it. So everything he used to teach me was always like you gotta plan things out. You gotta, know what you're gonna do your next move so you don't get stuck doing something or get yourself caught up in the middle of swapping something out and then you can't replace it because you didn't look at something or you didn't know what you were gonna have to do next.
You prefer manual or stick shift?
Stick shift. Well, say manual, you mean automatic or stick shift?
Yeah, automatic. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
See, not the car person.
It's okay. It's okay. Manual all day.
Okay.
Both my cars are manual right now. And it's crazy because it's sad to say, but it's a dying art. in a way, because of modernization of modern automatic transmissions. But just like I tell people, because I work in the automotive field, I still choose to drive stick shift. It's just fun. It's like a therapy. It's just a bonus to driving, um, and it just helps you build a better bond with the car, knowing how the car is going to perform in certain moments or in scenarios.
You have names for your cars?
Nah, not really. I call my old school. That's my main girl. And then
Okay.
my daily driver. That's
So
just
you got a little nickname then.
oh yeah yeah yeah. A little one, but not nothing crazy. Just the wifey and the mistress. That's it.
What's the biggest lesson that you've learned about being a car enthusiast?
Mm, this is a good one. The biggest lesson I've learned as a car enthusiast. Hold on, I want to make sure I say the right thing. The biggest lesson I'm gonna say is I've learned is you have to keep going. You have to keep learning, or actually no, yeah, that's wonderful. You have to keep going. Now to break that down, I kind of had a similar conversation like this with one of my buddies who I'm slowly transitioning to cars. Shout out my boy Devon Emperor. Um, I was One thing that's good about cars and why I say the keep going thing is you never stop learning with cars. Like you literally don't. And even deeper than that, there's multiple paths that being into cars can take you. Now, for example, what I mean by that, for example, you can be solely just a mechanic, right? Just fixing cars, fixing engine parts. It's one thing. You can be a fabricator, someone who creates, parts for cars, someone that makes exhaust, stuff like that. You can be someone who's just a painter, right? All of these things have immense knowledge, years of experience that go into them. And that's the thing, you just keep going. And it's cool because one thing I've learned with cars as a lesson is it builds you up. You start building more skills because you kind of have to.
Everything's
Because
evolving so much.
that and like one of the biggest things, so with my dad getting me in, I don't even want to say he got me into cars because it wasn't like that. He taught me and my siblings about cars because and I remember him telling me this exact thing as a kid. He said, "When you're older and you have car problems and you need to decide if you're gonna fix it yourself or give it to a mechanic, you need to know how to fix it, what's wrong, and what's the process of repairing or replacing something so you know
Mhm.
how much money you're gonna pay and if someone's charging you the right amount."
What's the craziest thing that you've seen at a car show?
Mm, but now what do you mean by that? Because does that mean, like, a crazy
Something
type
that
of
made your
car?
jaw drop, just something that just really caught your attention, like you just couldn't shake it.
Um, okay, so at a car show okay, so one thing that was crazy, and I have a video on this too, when I was in Japan, actually this last trip too, at this car show. So there's a car Nissan makes, it's called the Nissan Leaf. It's a electric car, right?
What's it called?
The Nissan Leaf, like a leaf on
Leaf.
a tree. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a electric car, right? So no emission. So I saw this car, it was towing a whole 'nother car. And this was crazy to me because I'm actually a Nissan. Well, I'm not a salesman as of right now, but I've worked for a Nissan dealership basically the last like 4 or 5 years of my life. So I'm very familiar with like Nissan products and brand. I really like the brand actually. But all my time as working in a dealership as a salesman, like I was like sitting like I've never even thought of towing something with that car. And
Yeah.
then on top of the fact that it was towing another car is it was towing another car that was like all made out of all carbon fiber. That was also a very like rare type of car. So it was kind of like a double, triple like shock factor.
I never even heard of that. Never see my light keep cutting off. I'm gonna just leave it alone.
It's all good.
You got some favorite like YouTubers like that are into cars, any car influencers on YouTube?
I do actually. So someone as far as like cars that I really like. So I'm gonna say one person is for sure Chris Fix. He's like one of the most well-known automotive YouTubers.
Mhm.
His whole content basically started as him literally teaching the everyday person how to do, we'll say, simple repairs, and you know he progressed into bigger jobs for people, but basically helping people learn how to work on cars and what things are and stuff.
And
So he's
save
a
some
great,
money.
yeah, definitely. Again, kind of just like the same thing my dad was instilling in me when I was younger. Um, he's a great channel, but as far as like other just car YouTubers, someone I follow, his name is Dustin Williams. He's another car enthusiast from California. I think he's originally from, I think he's from out of state originally, but moved to Cali. But he goes to Japan a lot. And I don't know, he has like a lot of really cool content. He's done a lot of cool stuff in Japan, and some of his content I don't know. I feel like I kind of resonated with it because like I've done some similar things while I've gone over there as well, like meeting certain people that are like popular in the car enthusiast world, stuff like that. I don't know.
This
That's
is an
just
interview, y'all. I'm looking at the comments. They talking about it really feels like an interview. This is an interview. I'm interviewing. So that's why he's not asking me any questions. Ask him. Have you watched Initial D?
I have watched Initial D. It's a dope anime.
So no
Do
car
you?
stuff, just anime. I don't
No,
know.
it is a car. It's about drifting in Japan actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's do you watch anime at all?
No, not really.
I don't
I'm
blame you.
not
It's okay.
against it. I just haven't found anything that really just caught my eye. So
That See, that's a good way to look at it. Um,
if I
so the
wanted
anime
to get into it, what would you recommend I watch first?
I'm about to get. I'll probably this is probably be the most controversial part of this whole thing. I'm gonna so the reason why I'm suggesting what I am is because the three friends that I showed it to all got into anime and started considering it because they were the same thing. Like it's not my thing, or I haven't found anything that I would actually watch. It's called Death Note.
Death No.
Death Note. Note
Note.
like a note,
Note.
like note of
Okay.
paper. Death Note for show.
So watch that.
Yeah, but you're gonna make me a deal, okay? You're gonna only watch the anime. Don't ever watch the Netflix live action movie. Don't do it. Just
Okay. It's
pretend it
bad.
doesn't even exist. It's just don't even bother with it. Watch the
It's
anime,
bad.
enjoy the storyline, because if you watch that one, it's gonna literally you're just gonna be like, why? You could if you want, you can, but you're just gonna end up laughing, be like, oh my god, like I see why he said that now.
Are there any car meetups you looking forward to or just events that's going on? I know here in Chicago, I don't know if it passed already, but I did go to like a Porsche show that they had out here. My name is Portia, so that's one of my dream cars is a Porsche. How you say it, Macan? I don't know if it's Macon or
Yeah.
Macan, but
Hmm.
I really love that car. I love the Porsche SUVs. The Cayenne is nice too. So that's my dream car. So do you have any that you looking forward to? What's happening? Did you go to NASCAR? That's another question too.
No, I'm not really into NASCAR. It just doesn't appeal to me that much. My type of racing, if I'm gonna watch it, I like watching like circuit racing, so actually going through the track. Like GT3, GT4 racing's cool. I try to go to local track events when they have those races and watch them in person when I can. Um, I like watching drifting too. But as far as like events coming up, there is an event in Japan I'm hoping I can make in October. Um, Not sure how that's gonna work out just as of now, but like I said, see what happens. And there's a will, there's always a way. It's not about
When
the
is it you said?
it's in like mid October.
You got time. You got
Yeah,
time.
so that
So
would
you
be
know what
one.
you should do as a content creator? You should go ahead and just pitch to the company.
I know, I know. This one is kind of like it's not necessarily like a big car show like that. It's kind of like a private one. Um, but yeah.
And make some content about it.
Oh no, definitely. It's the play. It's I really want to go to it. Other than what the event is, but the location they do it at, it's in this. It's it's in it's by this lake in Japan. It's called Biwa, and I believe it's the oldest lake in Japan. It's like 2 million years old or something like that. I think I read something like that.
Okay.
So it's got like a lot of history in it. So I think that's really cool too. That's one thing about like traveling. I always like to indulge in culture, learn something new.
And what's the best part about being in the car enthusiast culture?
Oh man, all the memories and people, hands down. I mean, I could put it to you like this. So there's this event I usually go to. It's called ZCon. It's the biggest Nissan Z like event in the country,
Mhm.
basically. And it's like literally like 5 to 6 days of all car stuff like through a whole week. So it's like there's car shows, 2 to 3 days of that week we'll go to like the local racetracks because the event moves every year, so it's in a completely different city and state every year. So we do 2 3 days where we go out to the local racetracks, drive our cars on the track, which is obviously fun in its own. um and then yeah, you just meet a whole bunch of people. So I've gone to that about 3 years now, and like I said, the people I've met there, I've spent about 3 weeks worth of time with them. But yeah, I can tell you, I probably am closer to those people than a lot of people I've known for a longer time than that. You know,
So it's really
uh,
like a tight knit community.
definitely, definitely. I don't want to say necessarily the tight knit part. Some people that could come off to people as a weird way. Um, but regardless, community, yes. There's togetherness. There's people. Hey, you need something, I got you. And that's one thing that's one thing I think is great about all hobbies, not just cars in general, but all hobbies is the community aspect, because that's what makes it worth it, and it makes it more fun. And I believe in when you get that and you invest back into it, you only gain so much more.
I like that. So we're gonna move to a couple of this or that questions. So you just choose one, whichever you like. Speed or comfort?
Speed.
Okay. Comfortable, convertible, or hard top?
Shit,
Whatever
depends
come
on.
to mind first.
All right, I'm just gonna say hard top because it depends on what I don't like a lot of convertibles. Just the styling of them.
Would you rather do an off-road adventure or a smooth expressway ride?
Off road. Off road would be cool.
You drove a Jeep
But
before?
yeah, I mean, I haven't drove
The
one off
Wranglers?
like that per se, but I've ridden in one, but not really like that.
Coupe or sedan?
Coupe.
No family cars.
Nah. No
Tinted
back seats. No,
windows.
no room for a family.
True. Tinted windows or sunroof.
Tinted. Yeah, I can. Yeah, tinted. I don't need
Can't
a
see
sunroof.
all up in your car. No
Nope.
fishbowl. No fishbowl.
No fishbowl. Nope. Tinted. I don't want you. I don't even want you seeing me in the car. I don't want you being able to know whose car this is. You should be
Period.
confused.
Because mind ain't business.
Mm-hmm.
Rims or custom paint job.
Rims. Mm, yeah, wheels.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think what would it look like without it. It would still look stupid even if it had a nice paint job. It wouldn't even make sense for real. So gotta have the shoes right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do a couple fill in the blank questions. If
Okay.
you could design a car, it would have
High performance, comfortability, style,
what's your top one? Because you gotta pick one.
performance.
My dream road trip destination is
Are we limit now? When we say road trip, are we limiting this to so somewhere just in the country, or are we
wherever
just
you
saying?
can drive to. You gonna drive out the country?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I just want to make sure. Just want to make sure I can
If
answer
you
correctly.
would, then whatever you choosing.
Um, shit. Where would I go drive to? I honestly don't have any like specific places, but I mean, one day I would like to do like a cross country trip in my car and like just take photos at whatever landmarks in whatever state. I think that'd be cool one day.
So no
But I
destination, you just
just go see
driving.
everything. Yeah, just go see everything. You know,
That's
I
adventurous.
yeah.
I like that. It's this man on TikTok that I'll be watching. He is like sailing. What is he sailing? The Pacific Sea, I want to say, Pacific Ocean. And he's just in a sailboat by himself, just filming his journey. I think that's so crazy.
That's wild. I can't do it.
It is. Like I would be so scared. He just out there, then he catches on fish and he cook it up and show everything. It's cool to watch, but it's just like this is so crazy. But people, he really living his life.
No, hell yeah. See, that guy, shit. Hell yeah, that fool can tell you about life. That
That's
fool tell you
YOLO
about the
all the way.
struggles.
That's a little too much for me, but it's cool.
Yeah. No, I couldn't do it. I mean, I love the water. I'm cool with that, but nah, bro. If I don't see the bottom of the water, nah, I ain't playing in it.
That's how I
If I
am.
can't see the bottom, nah, I'm good.
I get in the lake and that's about it. Get on a little boat out here in Chicago. If I go to
Mm-mm,
Miami, I get on one out there too. But no oceans for me.
damn, I haven't been to Chicago in so long.
Well, summertime shop about to be over, so you kind of missed your beat already. It's the best time to come in the summertime.
Nah, I can't do it. Too humid for me. I can't do it. I can't do the humidity. I used to hate that as a kid
That's crazy.
because that's when we would go. We'd always go in the summer, and I used to
Ain't it hot out
hate
there?
it.
It's not hot out
Not
there.
It's hot, but we don't have humid. It's not humid though. It's just like hot. That's cool. It ain't humid where you're like, ah.
That's only sometimes. That's not every day.
Nah, I hated that shit as a kid. I remember, I remember waking up and just being like irritated instantly, like can't breathe.
How old was you?
I was a kid, so I was, let's just say elementary, so 7, 8.
You need to
I
go.
hated it.
I think enough time has passed. You really don't remember. Just come on back. Come on back and enjoy the weather and the
I
fun
remember
that's out here.
there was a. So you said you were originally from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the restaurant I used to eat at as a kid? I couldn't tell you where it is, but it was called the Blue Angels. They had
I
their
ain't
own
never
restaurant
heard
spot. Damn,
that.
bro, that's crazy. That spot was
What they
fire.
sold? Breakfast?
It was like, I mean, I don't want to say it was like, but it was like a Denny's. So like they sold like everything, breakfast, like diner. It was a diner, I guess is the proper term for it.
No, I don't remember. It's
Damn,
probably just one of those like one location type of deals. Like I don't think it's a chain restaurant.
probably not. Nah, I just
Try to
remember we
Google
don't.
it, see if they still exist.
No, they closed a while ago, like a while ago. That's why I was thinking if you remember it. It's
Oh
been a
no,
minute since. Let me see. Actually, let me see. I'm curious. Let me see. Blue Angels Restaurant, Chicago.
they food must have been good. You remember?
Oh yeah, that was like my favorite. That was like one of the best thing, one of my favorite places to go eat there. Damn, I don't even see anything on it. That's crazy. Oh, there you go. Off Milwaukee. It was off Milwaukee Ave, I guess.
Oh, you was up north somewhere.
Yeah, by Jefferson Park. That's crazy.
Your ideal car garage would include.
Oh man,
You
gotta
got the
have my.
mansion. You got the space. What's going in there?
I need my Koenigsegg. Gotta
What's that?
have that. That Koenigsegg Agera.
Oh, your car.
And now, am I limited on how many cars for this one? Okay,
This
shit.
is your dream garage. Go big or go
So
home.
everything I want, it's gonna look like a Nissan dealership in that bitch. Like I'm gonna have like I want like one of my goals because the main, like I said, the main cars I'm into and community is the Nissan Z community. So something I've wanted since I've really got more involved into it is I want to have like one of each generation. So like seven, at least seven, one of each model. And then obviously when I want them obviously all, but I don't mean done up as in like, super fast. They don't have to be, but just super, just at least nice looking and clean. That's what the ultimate goal is. So it'd be a nice representation of what each generation can look like. And then if you sat there and looked at them in a garage at once, you'd be like, "Oh shit, I see how the car changed over time. That's crazy."
So real organized.
Yeah, yeah, simple.
What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Cancer. I was thinking Virgo because that sounds just very analytical of you, but
Nah,
I'm
sometimes
sure it would look really nice.
I'm a little. Sometimes I can be a little analytical. I think all of us get like that in some ways or another.
Mm.
I guess it just depends on how much you notice it, right? When you start thinking of it as analytical, what's the borderline really? If we think about
Would you rather would you rather have a driver or would you drive yourself all the time?
that's an awesome question. I don't know. Like I don't care to need to have a driver. Like if I
I want a driver because I hate driving. I'm just passenger princess all day. Just drive me around.
it wouldn't be bad, every now and then it's nice, I could chill, relax, whatever. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't know. I just don't think of it as a good thing. I'm gonna sit here and like, I don't know. It's just weird. I feel weird. Like I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel kind of bad for having that person as my driver. Like it makes me feel like lazy, kind of thing. I don't know. I can't really put it into words what I'm trying to say,
I
but
would say it's a luxury. I wouldn't call it being lazy. If you could pay for some more comfort, then I'm all for it, you know?
that's true. Why not?
That's just me though. I like getting driven around, so I would definitely choose the driver.
So I got a good question for you. In your dream bar,
Okay.
what you keeping in the cabinet?
Definitely gotta have Don Julio. That's like my favorite tequila. I like anejo. We could definitely do the 1942. I feel like you just gotta have the Hennessy to do say. Um, hmm. That Azul tequila, look, it got the bell on it, the blue and white one, the real big tall one. I like
Hmm.
that one. And I would just have so many just pretty glasses with like crystals in them, like just some real cool looking different glasses. They'll be maybe shaped like as a woman, like just her figure and something like that. Just some real cool stuff that you don't see everywhere. So nothing plain like this.
Mm,
Some real
okay.
cool glasses though. So how can the
Okay.
people follow you? How can they keep
Y'all,
up with what's going on?
y'all just follow me. My handles Canine Lives, KNINELIVEZ. Very simple. All my handles the exact same thing.
You on TikTok, Instagram,
TikTok, IG, YouTube,
YouTube? I'm gonna put the
Twitch.
links in here so they can follow you too from the description. Any projects you looking forward to?
Um, yeah, got a couple other cars I picked up. Picked them up like about a year or two ago. Um, Finally gonna be able to start working on them. They're
Mhm.
cars basically I found and I was able to acquire legally. Um, they've been sitting for like 20 years, so I'm gonna be restoring them and trying to just basically make them regular daily drivers. And then at
Are
that
you
point,
gonna
I'm gonna
make
decide if I
content
want to
about
keep it.
that? Can we look forward to seeing
Definitely,
that on your channel?
definitely, definitely,
All
definitely be
right,
something cool.
cool. Well, thank you for coming on with me today, even despite all the little mistakes that we had today, but we made it.
It's okay. We made it. Got to keep going. Keep
Yes,
going.
definitely do. And just be calm about it because it is what it is. We still here. We made it.
Yeah. Just patience, patience, patience. I'd say that's like just in ending words. I'd say that's like probably another lesson about cars is you got to
Mhm.
have patience. You
Yeah,
have to have patience because nothing's ever going to come out perfect right away. Never going to. And if you rush it, you're going to probably mess up and you're not going
yeah,
to be happy. You're going to spoil it.
true. Better done than not at all. Stop the
Hmm.
procrastination
Hmm.
and stay focused. Stay focused.
Exactly.
All right, well, we're gonna end this. I don't know. You got any last comments, questions, or anything? Oh, I do wanna people was asking in the comments. First of all, people was being a little weird and creepy, and I was just like removing them out the chat because what the fuck are y'all even talking about? But anyway, um, for the people asking me why he's not interviewing me, this is something that I do on YouTube. So I usually am in person with somebody and I have them on my show and we make a drink together. So we make an alcoholic beverage, a cocktail, whatever. And I'm interviewing them, just other creatives, and just about what they do, their passions, and we have a little fun, some different questions for them, and just to get to know them a little bit better. So that's why he's not asking me any questions because I'm interviewing him. So that's really all I gotta say. And good night, y'all.
Later. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Take
Good
care. Have a
night.
great